broadcast network, Afterbuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. Afterbuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Woohoo!
Are we on?
We're on. We're live.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big intro.
We're on the other side of it, though.
Hey guys, welcome back here again. Another fine Monday night. We are at the Supergirl Afterbuzz show. It is season 1, episode 3, and this one is called Fight or Flight. I'm one of your hosts, JJ Jurgens, and I'm joined here tonight by my lovely co-host.
Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie Wenger.
Hi, me. Hi, I'm Tauri Miller.
And we have a very special guest who just blasted into the Afterbuzz studio. We have Greg Berlanti, who played Reactron.
Hi. Yay.
Yeah, thank you for coming in and joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, we're going to start out. We're going to get through some of the other stuff quickly and then get right on into your interview. But let's start talking about, we have the love triangle back again that we kind of really enjoy here.
I know. It's like one of my favorite parts of the show. It's so cute.
So what did you think tonight that Wynn has gone and made her the special room that you guys have created for her?
Yeah, it was so sweet. And I just love that he's trying to save her at work, and then you have James trying to save her when she's Supergirl. Mm-hmm. So you have this like nice parallel of them each trying to save her, and it's kind of what she'll choose in the end, which I'm excited to see play out.
Mm-hmm.
Though I feel terrible for Wynn because he stands no chance, and it's real sad. Like, and you gotta
Really?
love
You don't
the
think
guy.
he's got a chance?
I don't. Mostly because like she's swooning so hard over James that like it'll be real hard to break through that unless James messes up in some way, or he goes above and beyond to prove himself.
Yeah, because doesn't that just seem obvious, though? I mean, it's like, wow, that's going so perfectly, so quickly that can't be the final deal, right? Is that? I mean, really? Because don't you think they're going to write a surprise in there somewhere? It's not going to be like, oh, look, they meet up first episode, boom, there's a magical thing, and they're together for 8 seasons.
Right.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, maybe they'll have like a moment in paradise, and then she'll move on to Wynn or someone new.
Or Jimmy's eyes will turn red,
Yeah.
and there's a whole new plot.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, right?
Well, and he does have his ex back in town. We see at the very end of this, so maybe that might delay a little bit of,
Yeah, she's not going to want to get in the middle of that. Supergirl
Right?
will be like, you know what, do your thing. And, yeah.
So maybe that'll give Wynn a little bit more of a chance there to kind of get in there.
That's true. I guess I just want him to be with someone who wants him from the gate, as opposed to like having to scrape for it.
I hear you. Everybody kind of wants that, right? You want somebody who's excited about you and knows they want to be with you.
Yeah.
You always want to be someone's first choice. I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Team win.
Well, then maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're not going to get together for seasons. Maybe it's going to be this whole thing like, just, pick someone, Supergirl. Come on. Mm-hmm. At least not, and then by like maybe the season finale, there's finally the big whatever 8:00 Monday night hookup is.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that can go so many different ways. But I just think that having them end up hopelessly in love from the gate is, like you said. I don't know. I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah. And I'd agree. I don't want to see that either. Like, I like the little moments like this one where we have right before one of your grand entrances where she's like, oh, what's so bad about falling? Like, I like seeing their slow little burn.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the will they, won't they kind of stage of a relationship like that. I think especially in TV, you want that to kind of extend on at least into the first season, and you want a moment, like I want them to kiss and like have those moments, but yeah, you do end up, I think, in TV, just the longer you wait for them to like be together is kind of great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you had that moment where it was like, this is such a perfect moment. What could ruin this moment? Nothing. Unless something came from the sky.
Right.
Yeah.
Starts blowing things up. Yeah. Well, let's talk about another character that we've finally got to see more of this time was Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
So how are you guys feeling about him?
Go ahead.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's such a lovable jerk, but he's real mean, and it's great.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Peter Facinelli is doing a great job.
Yeah.
with
He's
it.
Definitely.
so good, that guy. He's really good. He's smooth. I mean, he's one of these guys that's thinking all the time, you know. So by the time you get to what you shoot, he's worked up a bunch of stuff and come up. He's just subtle, just really. He's naturally good, man.
He
But he's
tweeted
smart.
you out some congrats about he enjoyed
did.
your performance tonight. That's
He
gonna be
did.
pretty cool.
He did, yeah. That's really cool. I was honored. That was nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where that character goes because we kind of got the introduction last week and then he was abducted this week. So the character is moving very kind of quickly. I feel like we're not kind of getting stuck with him being just like, oh, he's the mean guy. Okay, he's moving forward. So that's interesting to me.
Isn't he supposed to be like bad? Isn't he like a bad guy?
I think
Yes.
Or in the comics? I mean, he's a.
Yeah, he started as just like a regular millionaire tycoon kind of guy, and one of our commenters actually was kind of educating me on his background in that he ultimately ended up being this giant supervillain. He even killed a couple heroes, and so he's a big deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So they don't, but I mean, he said they change it up for the show, right? I mean, they change a lot of the stuff. I know that my character's whole backstory is different than it is in the comic books.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about that on our past podcasts that the show will differ and kind of has already differed from the original comic books.
Right.
I was wondering though, what do you guys think about Kat and him being a potential couple?
I was going to ask the same thing because I also thought maybe they alluded to there was some history before because what was that line she said?
Well, she
where
said she heard that, so there wasn't a history before.
Oh,
I mean, wasn't that? I mean, because I was going, was
Yeah.
that? Did she just?
See, I didn't know if she
diss
was
this
being
guy?
sarcastic, like she knew from personal, like, oh, I heard, da, da, da. I didn't know how to read that one. So
Yeah.
you think, no, it wasn't not history between them.
I was just going, wait, is that what she's really talking about in
Right.
the 8 o'clock show? I tell my kids you want it. Are they getting away? But that's what that was, right? I'm not just being dirty, am I?
I thought it alluded to them having, there was a past with them, but
Yeah.
Well, she said, I heard you had big promises, but
couldn't.
something about how there's
Yeah, but
nothing
that's
else
about
big
it,
about
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
There's nothing else
Yeah.
big about you.
Right.
Ha ha. She did everything but point and laugh.
Right.
So I thought, and she said she'd heard that too. So it wasn't like I'm not getting back on that road again with you. It was just a jab that I guess I was pretty shocked by.
Yeah.
But that's what that was, right? That's what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the feeling that they were kind of she was the one who got away. So they never hooked up, but he's always had a thing for her. Is the feeling that I got.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's what I got too. I got that she's been a prize that he's wanted for him. For him,
Yeah.
it's a catch. A trophy, if nothing else. They probably. She's probably thought of toying with and dismissing him on several occasions too. Is
Right.
what I felt like, but it was like, yeah, I'd rather just tease him and.
Yeah, I feel like if they ever got together, they'd be a total power couple in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
You'd just be kind of two evils coming together in completely different ways, and I don't know if that would make a good thing or a really bad thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same as all you guys. I felt like they're both these two driven people, and they both like things their way, and they both have power, and they feed off the power. And even the way they shot the scene where they're having this conversation, when they're dancing, and he's twisting her around. They're kind of twisting back and forth, each kind of taking the lead on the dance floor too. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. There
But-
was a little jousting there.
Yeah. I like them together though, so I would actually I like to see this banter back and forth. And I want more of that.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I would hate to see their breakup though. Real messy.
That's like season 18.
It'd be real fun, actually. So, Cat Grant, so more about her. She's this whole episode. We start out. She gets her interview that she's wanted with Supergirl, and then it kind of builds as she's written the article. And cute scene. Supergirl's reaction to the words that she wrote about her.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny, especially from like, I feel like we're all like journalism perspective here. Like, it was really funny to hear her just be like, well, it's nasty. Like, and that was like, her bottom line was how like nasty and awful this article was. And I was like, you're taking it very personally. Like, she was not separating it all, looking at like any journalistically. It was just like, this is nasty, which I really appreciated. She's not like a...
I also like that she said she was a super interviewing villain, and we're like that, and they're like, that's like the most boring villain ever.
That's the worst superpower ever. Yeah. He's funny. Win cracks me up. He did the same thing in the first episode when he asked her about. She said she was going on a date or something, and he's like, dating's fun.
Yeah.
Something like he really wanted to ask her out. He's got that soft-spoken, understated humor that I like.
And great use of his eyes, too. Like, just the little looks he makes, you know, just say so much.
Expressive.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the perspective, like Kat's perspective on Supergirl. This whole like idea of this millennial superhero, because she kind of is. She's this character who's trying to find her way, trying to define herself, not by what's been done before, but like what she can do and what she can't. And I don't think of millennial as a negative phrase. So I like this idea that they're kind of sewing into it.
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting the way they're referencing kind of pop culture things like that she talks about like, do you want a family, which was such an issue, like red carpet reporters asking like, do you want a family on the red carpet, and like what's your day, well, that's your day job, that's a pretty standard question, but I don't know, and then she ends up revealing that it's her cousin. Like, I just thought the interview was really funny, and then to take it and kind of twist it into this millennial superhero, I really agree. I thought that was a great way of kind of encompassing her story.
I did like the keeping up with the Kryptonians.
Yes. Right? Right. Totally.
Yeah. When I heard the Millennial Falcon thing, I thought, well, that's awesome because that's Harrison Ford's ship, and she's married to Harrison Ford in real life, and I was putting that whole thing together, so I wasn't paying attention. I was just geeking out on the Star Wars thing. But there was something else that you were talking about with on the interview, when at the top of the interview, when she goes, oh, it's you, or something, then she goes, no, I mean, oh, it's you, like that. Remember when she was still flying through the air?
Yeah.
And then at the end when she was saying, well, what's your day job and stuff, did that mean she didn't know that was Supergirl, that was Kara?
Right.
But when she said, oh, that's you, I thought she was meant, oh my God, it's Kara, it's my assistant in a Supergirl outfit. I thought she recognized her because, it's the same girl.
Right. Because she looks the exact same.
And they were so close together too. You would assume at that distance you would recognize her. I guess that whole idea of like putting on the cloak though, or like the superhero outfit changes that. But yeah, I agree. Like you would think that she would have recognized her.
But what did that mean when they said?
I think they almost wanted us to think that for a second. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but I got the sense that they wanted us to for a second be like, oh, does she recognize her? And then she doesn't.
Well,
like, then she asked.
It worked on me.
Okay. I had interpreted it as because her car was essentially swept off the street, so I thought she initially thought it was Superman, and then was just like, oh, it's Supergirl. Cool, I'll take that.
That's another good way.
Interesting.
Why would she expect Superman to carry her away?
I mean, who doesn't want Superman to carry her?
I'm ready for that. You can take this table right now. Carry us all away. So speaking of Superman, I know reading some of the Twitter comments tonight, a lot of people, some good, some bad, about how many references to Superman there were in this episode. We see a glimpse of him. She's constantly talking about how she's not Superman. She's doing this on her own. What are you guys' feelings on that? Did you like that? Did you want less of it, more of it? Any thoughts?
I don't know that there's going to be a lot more of that. I think they were probably trying to get that out of the way. It felt like to me, like they were going, okay, look, here's the reason why we're not going to have to show a blurry Superman every week for the rest of time, because we'll get why she's, the whole thing about why she's not going to call for his help, or she win or lose, it's going to be her action, and I'm going to do this on my own no matter what, whatever. As soon as I call him, we're done, and National City will be thought of as a weak little bird that's ripe for the picking, and all this. If I call Superman one time, even though no one knew she existed 2 weeks earlier, I don't know why they didn't attack then.
Right.
But I got the feeling that that's what they were doing, that they were going to, let's get all this set so that we don't have to mention Superman every week. But then that kind of is going to hurt James's deal, because his whole thing is the big,
Like his connection.
yeah. I don't know if, I guess that's not really necessary, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Does he have to?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to ever show Superman, because that's a whole different
Right.
licensing thing, probably. It's probably like trying to put Beatles music on every episode. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little pricey.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, I personally don't have an issue with it in that, like, I like that when things take place in a bigger universe, that, like, you're able to make these references, and you're able to kind of, like, acknowledge that there are other people in this world that exist that are heroes. Like, for example, when Arrow first started, I don't like to compare shows, but like when Arrow first started, there was no one for them to reference, and it just kind of like, you're like, this is a solitary bubble, even though there are so many other heroes in this world and in all other worlds. And so I like the fact that you can just kind of have all these acknowledgments that, yeah, Metropolis exists. Superman is there. It would be really weird if this cousin of Superman was like, Metropolis, never heard of it,
Well, I don't know that show, the Arrow thing. I don't know nothing about that one. What world is that in? Like, is that part of the same?
Yeah, it's part of the DC universe.
So that's the Flash. They weren't referencing Flash on Arrow. I mean,
right. Well, yeah. Before Flash existed, it was just its own solitary thing. And I mean, there are other heroes about, but like, they wouldn't even say the name of the actual villains that would come week to week, just because they thought it would alienate the people who weren't fans of the comic.
But isn't that who was watching?
Yeah.
They just wanted people to just watch Arrow just because it was...
I mean, yeah, they wanted it to be its own, like, they wanted it to stand on its own merits, not necessarily be super dependent on the comic book.
Oh.
But, like, that kind of, for me, takes away from it, because I want to hear these names. I want to, like, experience these characters in live action, and I want to be able to know that this character is Jimmy Olsen. This character is, works for Perry White. I like the hearing of these names, because, they hold a sweet spot. So that's my perspective.
That's the world.
Yeah. Like the thing with the Lois Lane and her cousin, what's her name? Lucy. Like any relation? Well, yeah. Lois is my cousin. It kind of makes you go, oh, yeah, it's part of that world.
Right.
And I don't even watch. I don't know anything about Superman more than any kid who watched Superman. That's I wasn't a comic book person, but I even liked that. I even liked hearing it's Lois. I remember Lois Lane.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, what Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, weren't they a thing?
Just coworkers.
Just coworkers.
Yeah.
But and Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen was never dating Lois Lane's cousin, sister.
Sister.
Her little sister. Yeah.
That didn't happen.
I believe they did date in the comics. Yes.
In the comics, but not on the show.
No.
On the old show. old-timey show that I watched. What's his name? Reeves?
Christopher Reeves.
No, not Christopher.
Oh, wait. Are you?
No.
The original black and white Superman.
Yes.
Was also Reeves, I think.
Oh, I
have to
look it up.
I know.
You're making me.
I don't know what the Christopher.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna? I've just totally
I'm
blanked on
sorry,
the
I threw you
question.
guys off
No,
your whole-
not my
Lucy
question.
Lane.
Oh, Lois Lane. Yeah, to go back to your original question about Superman, I kind of want her to continue the text exchange with him. I liked that. I was like, that's actually really a cute thing. Not like every episode, but occasionally just be like,
cool.
it's going well. Like, it's terrible, whatever, and see... just like for a scene. I don't need it all the time, and I kind of like that she's standing on her own 2 feet, but there's something kind of sweet about that like text exchange, and it prevents you from having to like see Superman.
That's a good idea.
I agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. It
Yeah.
would make a one little text would make you go, oh, look, Superman. He's still out there. Making us all safe.
He's around. He's watching over her. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's jump on into this storyline. So Reactron shows up.
Yes. Reactron showed up.
You're like, yes.
What can I tell you?
Everything. No. Well,
You know what? One thing I'll tell you though about the show, because the actors are just hugely overpaid, spoiled, freaking silly people. I mean, as a whole, like all of us are really getting a lot of money for playing, right? I've always felt that. I've always just thought, especially when I'm on a set with people who complain and whine and snivel about pastries and shit. You know? Can I say that?
yeah, you could. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe I haven't sworn up to now.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta hear me at home. But I cuss a lot. So anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, so usually it's a pretty much you come home from it's long hours sometimes and you're grueling. It can be exhausting. If you're someone like Melissa on this, I mean, I don't know how she even does it. She, 'cause she's doing 14-hour days every day and reshoots on the weekends, and then running to a Comic-Con on Sunday and coming back, just nonstop. And so, you know what, she's earning it. But when I did this episode, I felt like I earned it. That was the most grueling thing I've done. And I've done some like really low budget, far away like things like in Russia where they have no rules at all, and freezing and a lot of grueling work. But this thing, man, it was brutal. Because there's a suit that you put on. That's first you put on this muscle suit, like foam muscles to give you these massive legs and arms, and it's just it's all like in Under Armour, and it's sewn into it, and they're foam, and you put those on, and then you put the suit on, which is neoprene, right, like a wetsuit that's made to look like whatever that was, like metal kind of like it was kind of oxidized, coppery looking, but it was a wetsuit. And then you put on all this armor, and then you put the face mask on so you can't breathe, and then you go to Pacoima and as 110, and you're fighting in a junkyard, and you're around all these towers of cars that are just soaking up heat. They're just like towers of ovens, and it was hard. I mean, it was really hard. I mean, the suit would weigh 15 pounds more at the end of the day than it did when I put it on. It would just soak up sweat.
Right.
And you drink 15 bottles of water in 3 hours and never pee once. It's like that kind of exhaustion. And people are, the doubles are really, the guys like stunt double, those guys there was a couple different ones on that show, and they're really doing the heavy lifting, and a lot of the stuff, like all the stuff, because you're not gonna, you don't just go out there and go, okay, here's Melissa, go out and just beat the shit out of her,
Yeah, it's
so it's very, she's the show, So they don't want my dumb ass out there, beating up on her, missing, and accidentally hurting her. And so
Right.
she's got doubles, I've got doubles, and rarely are the two actors in the same shot. I mean, there are times, but there's a lot of times when a lot of the choreographed fighting, if it's far enough away, and Melissa's double is spot on, and she's awesome. I actually worked with her on Ray Donovan too. She's really
That show.
Yeah, she's great, and she I didn't work with her. I met her on the show on Ray Donovan because she's the stunt coordinator on the show.
I was wondering because you were in charge of you were a pimp on that show, like
Yeah.
the ladies. I was like, oh, who's the badass?
No, she was just the coordinator. She was there the day that I went in the pool.
Okay. Now when you died.
Yeah, when I died, they had to have somebody else go in the water. And I was like, oh, let's just go into the water. I think I can handle that, but I'm glad I didn't. That poor guy was in the water for like 2 hours. So then anyway, the stunt guys, they were the ones that were like really out there, doing a lot more than I was doing, and I was dying. But those guys, they earned it, man. Everybody on that show earned it. And Supergirl, that little suit she wears, it just looks like a t-shirt and shorts. It's not. It's a whole thing, man. There's that thing is scientifically, it's put together, and it's a whole bunch of stuff, and she's in that thing all the time. It's amazing, and that I got a new respect for that stuff, man. I was like, I thought, oh, this is fun. We'll be doing a little playtime.
How many days did you shoot?
I think an episode on that show is 8 days of shooting, I think.
Okay.
Which is a lot for TV. We did, like, Sons of Anarchy was 6, I think. So they got 2 full days more. And it's huge. They're running the main unit and second unit all the time somewhere. And they're closing off like that whole thing with the buses and stuff. That was a 4-lane highway in Long Beach.
Really?
And they
wow.
just closed it off for the day and flipped over some buses and cars. Unbelievably huge show.
How
Huge.
long does a sequence like that with the buses take to film? Is that a whole day?
That was a day.
Okay.
Now that one scene was a day. That whole thing with her. Yeah, and we had to we didn't get it all. I don't think we did it all. We had to do some of it. No, I think we got that. No, we got that. Something else we did later. So there were pickups. They're constantly. They don't just go, here's the script, let's shoot it. They're always working on it. They're coming up with new ideas. They went, hey, we want to add some more stuff to this fight because we thought this ended too quickly, and let's put some more stuff in it. And I know the thing where right before the end, the last fight, when I come through the ceiling, that was at the Skirball Center. Rent that out for the day.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
the locations are amazing. But and just think about that. If you think about it from a production point of view, you got that building, and then you've got whatever they had, 50 people dressed in tuxedos and evening gowns and all that stuff that goes with it, with that fine party that they had, and that's just another day on the set. But they had they thought that fight went too quickly, so they added. Oh, I know why. Because then when I take off after James, she intercepts me, and we go plowing into the asphalt and dig a big trench with ourselves, and then get up and I kick her like 50 feet into that building and all that stuff.
Incredible.
That was all stuff that they just decided to add. It's like, wow, they're really thinking about this stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. How did you prepare for the role? Like, did you look up anything about the character? Did you kind of like source anything from yourself? Like, how did you personally prepare for it?
Well, I didn't. TV is one of those things where it's so quick. I went to the audition, and then they told me like that like 2 hours later that I was hired. And they were, I don't know what happened. If you know, you never know. You go, me, I'm thinking, okay, some big name dropped out, right? And they go, quick, we need someone. That's what I'm always thinking because I'm, you know, insecure actor. But whatever it was, sometimes you do a thing and then you know, a week later, 2 weeks later, you go, hey, they're moving forward on this thing. You got the part, whatever. But this happened in a couple hours, and then I found out that the backstory wasn't, because I looked it up. I mean, I started looking the stuff up because as soon as they told me I had it, all of a sudden it was all over the internet. That this, you know, I'm like blowing up the internet. I'm looking all over. I'm Googling this thing, and it's like 50 pages of Chris Browning's Reactron, and it was like I've never been publicized like that ever, you know. And so I'm looking it up, and they're putting the photos, I mean the art from comics, you know, as Reactron, and there's all these different renderings of him, and there's a whole Vietnam thing in the comic books, a Vietnam backstory.
Right.
He was something to do with Vietnam. The nuclear thing was a nuclear, I don't know, some weapon thing that happened. He had something to do with hurting a village or something. I don't know. He was a soldier, and then he, for whatever reason, things went bad, and that was the story, something to do with Vietnam. And then I was told that wasn't even it anyway, so it was like, well, then why research it? You know, it's not going to be what we're using anyway. So I just kind of found it, whatever, I mean, not that I found it, but whatever I found, I just kind of found on the day, like when we were doing it, because a lot of the stuff was like I didn't like the voice. That was just like one of the options. You know, I was trying all kinds of different things because I didn't really know. But most of the stuff I was doing was more quieter, you know, and but then, you know, you kind of just jump in and see where the producers guide it, you know, and you kind of they're molding you as much as you're molding it, you know. I think because I certainly didn't start there, you know. They were like, you know, but I think one time when we did the Skirball thing, and I just had that one line about where's Supergirl. That one I did big because I was talking to a room full of people, and unfortunately, that was the one they liked, you know. So,
so you're gonna be big all day then.
Yeah, and then I'm like coming home every day from work talking like this.
Yeah.
You know? And it was sometimes I really was kind of just blowing my voice out, and then I'd be, you know, doing Miller Lite the next day. And I'd be like, you don't sound right, you know.
Yeah. So. Did you find a lot of freedom and fun in being a villain character like this?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of fun because at least for me, because I was hiding behind that mask, you know, and everything. You don't have expressions, so you just get to, you know, you get to walk like a robot. You get to make big gestures and move. You can't really move that well anyway, so everything you do is just this big hulking thing, and you start to kind of buy into it, you know, and I don't know. There's something about it, you know. Then the makeup too. There was, you know, I wasn't always in that. I mean, the makeup was all that radiation was all down my chest and arms and stuff, but only for the, you know, for those shirtless scenes. The one where I shoot the TV in the beginning, and then the scene with Peter, with Maxwell Lord. Then it was a long time for doing that too, the makeup stuff.
How long did it take to apply?
I think we got it down about 10 minutes.
Okay, nice.
I mean 10 minutes. I just looked at that.
How do we only have 10 minutes left? This goes so quickly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't get a chance to make up stuff.
We'll rapid fire. We got a lot more we can talk about here in 10 minutes.
Okay.
We'll skip news and gossip, all that stuff. Yeah, we just want to hear more.
Okay.
So growing up, who were your superheroes?
Oh, God. Wow.
And they don't even have to be...
Not really superheroes, because I was never a comic book person, but I was a TV person. I was watching. I used to sneak out and watch horror films and stuff when I was like 5. And I could get up at midnight and go out and turn on the TV and watch horror movies and stuff. But I liked. I think do you remember the Wild Wild West? Remember that show? Mm-hmm. That was the one, I think, more than anything, or the westerns like The Rifleman, Chuck Connors. These are old shows. You guys haven't heard of these, but there was a show with Robert Conrad called The Wild Wild West, and they made a movie with Will Smith.
Yeah.
It was not good, but but the series was cool, and he was this whatever government agent, but he was cool, and he had all these cool gadgets, and I wanted to be him when I was a kid. But I was in Reno, Nevada, and everybody was cowboys. It was a small town, and everybody was a cowboy. I mean, literally went to school with bolo ties and cowboy boots.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did you decide you wanted to be an actor and pursue this?
Kind of fell into it on accident, really, because I was done with college, and I was working in a warehouse up in Reno and just kind of bumming around. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I told a buddy of mine that I wanted to write screenplays, and he told me about a friend of his. He goes, "Yeah, my friend went down there to L.A. to get in the business, and he went to the school called the American Academy of Dramatic Arts." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll go there." And so I went there, but I was already in the school and paid and quit my job and moved down to Pasadena and left my job and did all that stuff before I realized that they weren't, they didn't teach screenwriting. It was a theater school, and I was terrified. The first year I was terrified. I was not I was terrified. I was shy. I did not want to get in front of people. I didn't know anything, and I was in school with all these people that were theater geeks from school and everything, and they're talking, they'd be saying, tomorrow we're going to be off book and start blocking, and I'd be like, what's off book? What is blocking? I don't know anything, but it kind of helped. It was kind of like became that thing where that was like really the only place that I was really comfortable in my own skin, So I kind of fell into it that way. Which is, I still write, but I haven't made anything. I haven't had the success writing as I have acting.
Yeah. And you've had lots of acting success. I mean, you've been in movies, you've had Sons of Anarchy, you're on the Robert Rodriguez show right now. Anyone that's just, I'm not gonna ask your favorite, but how does it feel getting to be in all these wonderful shows like this?
Oh, it's a dream. It's a dream come true. I'm kind of at my second pass at it because I was in the 90s. I was a regular on a couple of sitcoms, and then I kind of fell off the face of the earth for a while and just became a no good drug addict, drunk, and it was like gone. I was off the grid for years. Years of living on the streets and stuff. So to come back from that and get a chance to do it again, I've got a new appreciation for it. It's like, because I've got this horrible past to compare it to. I'm sitting here talking to you guys about a TV show that was just on national TV, and I was all over it, and it was like, wow, that really happened. That was, I used to sleep in the bushes. So for me, this is all gravy, It's just more than I expected.
Can we expect to see you more on Supergirl, or can you talk about that?
Someone just asked me that on Twitter, and I was like, I don't, I'll know, believe me, I'm telling you when I find out. But,
Let us be the first to know.
yeah, I will. I'll tell you guys first, but I don't know. The articles, when they came out, they said, he'll be back. He's recurring. Producers told that, they mentioned that in the what is that, press release, that I was coming back, and I think it's shaping up like Supergirl's gonna have to butt heads with the bad guy every week, while juggling these suitors and everything else. But I hope I'm back for Supergirl Reactron 2.
Yeah, because it sounds like, you have nothing left. You don't want to be a normal life anymore. You've said in this episode, you lost all that. So really this is your mission right now, to hurt Superman or anyone close to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not... Reactron without the suit is dead anyway. He's like, that was the whole thing why, I don't know if it played, but, when the suit wasn't working, he was supposed to be in pain and barely able to stand, and that whole thing in Reactron's lair in his little cabin, and when he came into Lord, what's his name, Maxwell Lord, yeah, when he came in there, and he was supposed to be really hurting and desperate and running out of steam.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's Reactron's look at it. Is there's what else? There's nothing else to do anyway. Might as well be a super villain. Might as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a good beat job.
Yeah. Anger's a big motivator. Gets him out of bed.
Was there anything other than, I know you talked about the wearing the costume, that being kind of a surprise. Any other surprises for you working on the set and working on a show that now was, like CBS's biggest show that they put, so much money? I mean, anything that you didn't really see before you went in there that, you're like, that you learned from this experience?
I talked a lot about that. I mean, really feeling like I was earning my money on this show. Like I worked hard on it, and everybody did, and I just thought for a fledgling show, I was on episode 3, and it was already this really tight-knit family and a really well-oiled machine, and everybody was, from the top down, was just really in good spirits and easy to work with, which has happened. I get on. I'm pretty fortunate. I've been on some great productions and stuff. So that wasn't it, but it was everything that came after. I think that because for me it was like I did another. You'll do a show, this is, I'm not dissing Bones or Castle or something, but you do a guest star on something, and then it comes out, and you say, oh, hey, I saw you on whatever, on Castle. It just happens. You do a job, and you're done, and it's over. But this one was like a whole different thing. I've never experienced anything like that. It was like, all of a sudden all these people are talking to you on Twitter and this whole thing. And because there's people know who Reactron is. People don't know who Glenn Johnson is on Castle, the guest star, or whoever I was on these things. Nobody's like, oh my God, you're that guy. No. And so it's the stuff that happened after that's blowing me away. It's like I'm realizing just how huge it is. It's a huge thing. It's huge. And I was on a show a long time ago called Hardball that was a sitcom. We came on after The Simpsons. It was a baseball show, and it was kind of like Major League. And when it came out, our pilot aired or whatever, we kept 90% of the Simpsons audience. We were all excited. And I was like, is that a lot? That's a lot of people saw us? And he said, more people saw that show last night than all the people who have seen Forrest Gump. Wow. And Forrest Gump had been out for 5 years or something at the time. And you just realize, you start thinking about the numbers involved when it comes to network television. Like a show like this is like CBS's #1 show, the #1 show on the #1 network. That's a lot of people. Man.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of people. and you don't even realize it until all this stuff building up to it.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's cool. I hope I'm back. I hope I'm back a bunch.
Yeah, we do too.
Great people to work with.
Yeah, very nice. Did you have one, Urena?
No, do you have one?
Oh. So what other...
I mean, I can go if you want
I
me
want to
to.
step on your toes. What other roles would you like to play?
I'd like to do more comedy. I'd like to get back into that because I that's where I started. I was in sitcoms. And do you remember that show In the House?
Yes.
Yeah, I was on that.
In the house. I'm sorry.
I looked at you. Do you know that show In the House?
UPN, man.
It was UPN. I was the white guy on it, and I was like the dumb guy. I was a dumb guy on Hardball too, with the baseball show. Kind of like the Woody character, from Cheers or whatever. But I had a lot of fun doing those. I don't know. I don't want to do sitcom, but I'd like to do more comedy. I'd like to do people who don't die.
I want to stay alive.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal. I feel like that should be like every actor's goal is to stay alive.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a soap, then you can die and be a ghost. It doesn't matter.
I could put such a reel together just of me dying, and I've been taken out by some big people. I've had. It's been kind of honorable. And for a while, it was like, hey, that's pretty cool. Denzel killed me. Or Schwarzenegger killed me. I'm on that list of 10,000 people that Schwarzenegger's killed. But there's I don't know. I just want to stop being the bad guy all the time. Because I'm nice.
You're very nice.
Very
nice
sweet here tonight.
Yeah. See? But no, I'm getting a lot of opportunities to do that. Lately, there's stuff coming up, and there's a show that I've got. We've got even Jason Momoa, right?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. When he's doing the Aquaman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But he's a buddy, and we're neighbors in Topanga, and I did a movie with him. He wrote and directed and starred in a movie called Road to Paloma, and I'm in that with him, and I'm kind of the comic relief in that movie.
Nice.
I was going to ask you about that one because you're. I know there was a lot of motorcycle riding in that, right, on the road, and you're also in Sons of Anarchy. Do you also ride? Do you ride?
I ride.
I
grew up riding. I'm dirt bike though. I'm motocross background, but and I have a license to ride. I just don't. Not around here. I live in Topanga, and they're carrying someone away in a helicopter like every weekend. I get in enough trouble in my car. I don't know. Out somewhere else, like I used to live in Taos, and I would like to, I could ride there or somewhere more open, but I'm just too scared.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's scary here. I wouldn't want to ride out here either. Yeah.
What's that mean?
Oh, yeah, they're telling us it's time to wrap up. Okay, since it's time to wrap up, I'm going to ask one more question because you shared with us that you had a lot of success and then you had addiction problems and then now you're back. What would you give, just advice to people who are struggling themselves or who just how you've had the success, turned your life around, and now are back out again with great success again? What lessons you've learned?
People who are struggling with what? With this business of trying to be an actor, or with addiction?
I guess let's separate both. I guess the addiction, and then also advice you would give to struggling actors out there.
Yeah, that was kind of my problem. Is I didn't prioritize very well, and I made this. I didn't take care of me. I didn't really. Excuse me. If I put my recovery first, then everything just falls into place, But and when I don't, it doesn't. It falls apart, and I think that's what happens. That's why it was so hard for me, because I just always thought that if I could get this thing going, then everything else would be fine. But I don't know why I still thought that, because it was getting this thing going that gave me all the money and the free time to let all that other stuff progress into a nightmare. So it was silly that I thought it would change things. But once I left the business, like when I said I lived in Taos, I moved to Taos because I gave up on the business. I wanted to be clean and sober and have a quiet little life and build Adobes and just survive. And then, but that was in 2004, and that was the year that New Mexico started a tax incentive to bring productions there. So that's how I got in 310 to Yuma and Terminator Salvation and all those movies that most of them were in New Mexico. And then LA found me again, and I finally got reps out here, and it was time to move back, and so I moved to Topanga. But that's, for me, that's the priority. You know, all this other stuff is, you know, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Of course.
Makes sense.
and nothing's entertaining when I'm getting loaded. It's not, nobody's having a good time.
Right.
Not, especially not me or anyone around me.
So how about just for aspired actors then, to wrap us up on?
For aspiring
Yeah.
actors, I would say just it's really is that stuff that I was hearing when I was coming up. It's just about it's just an endurance game, you know. Everybody's just that one little break away. That's what's great about this business, is there can be something come along that is your thing, you know, and it takes you off, and it might be 20 years down the road, you know. I mean, I'm still really waiting for that thing. I'm not walking around as a household name. People don't know who I am, but you know, it's just that one. You do these things, and it's like, hey, why don't we see that guy who was on Supergirl? Why don't we try him? He'd be great. He'd be a great villain. You know, he'd be a great guy who dies at the end of season 1. But for whatever, it's the thing that you just need to outlast everybody. It's because I went to school, you know, at the American Academy. Went to school with some great people that, you know, that had great careers. I was in school with Carrie Ann Moss and French Stewart and Adrian Brody and Paul Rudd and you know, and a lot of other amazing people. Really amazing people that are in that class of actor that are, you know, they're architects now or something. They got tired of the fight and they went into something else, and they're selling real estate, or they own their own business, or they're, you know, whatever. And they just chose to go another way. But it has nothing to do with them not being capable. You know, they just it's all, I think if you stay in it long enough, you're gonna get it. You know, you just have to outlast people, because it's a sucky life not making it. You know, and you know, if you're waiting tables and you're 50 and you still are like, God, this is, you know, I need that break. That guy could still do it. You know, that he could be a lead in a series tomorrow, but it's not, you know, it's like a lottery ticket. You can't win if you don't play.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, great. Well, I hope we see you lots more as villain, or you're such a nice guy here. So.
Thank you, guys.
More
lots
comedies.
more. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and I'll come back anytime.
All right. Well, we want more Reactron. All right. So where can everybody follow you guys at?
You can find me at Stephanie Wenger on Twitter, Facebook, all of it. Check it out.
How about your Twitter?
My Twitter?
Underscore
Chris Browning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice. You can find me at Tauri J. It's TAURIJAY.
And I'm at JJ Jurgens. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you actually 1 hour earlier next week. We're going to start at our new time, so we'll be at 9 instead of 10 o'clock.
All right.
Yes.
Right? No. Yeah.
8 instead of 9.
8 instead of 9?
Sorry, I'm looking at the clock. Past my bedtime. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Afterbuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of Afterbuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.